There are certain ways we have been doing things all our life, and then there are alternative perspectives. At Spill the Tea, we spill those alternatives or unconventional ideas. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show. This is your host, BB and Keisha. And today we are really excited to have Sara Puhto joining us all the way from South Africa. Hi, Sara. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I'm good. Thank you for
Good.
asking. Hey, Keisha, how are you?
Okay, good.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Sarah. So now, talking about conventional things and their unconventional counterparts, I think many of us will not disagree with the stereotypes or paradigms we have grown up with. Uh, when it comes to our physical selves, in this case, our appearance, how do we look in public, how do we hide our flaws? Or rather, most important point, are those really flaws which we hide? I mean, Sarah, before we proceed and take a deep dive into our topic today, which is all about body acceptance, tell us something about yourself.
So, hi, I am Sara Puhto. I just post on Instagram about body acceptance. So, it'll like range from showing the posing behind like typical Instagram photos or just showing the non-post version, posting photos like that and just writing about like my past insecurities, things that I'm feeling, things about like my body that I guess like society has made me feel like are
Yeah.
flaws, but realizing that those things aren't actually flaws, they're very human and normal. So yeah, I kind of do that on Instagram.
Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, yeah, we will surely get into uh, asking more questions and take a deep dive into it. So, Kisha,
Yep.
what's your thoughts, and
Thank
would
you
you
so
like to
much.
mention? Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much, Bibi, and thank you for that great introduction, Sarah. And let me mention this to our listeners that Sara Puhto is a Finnish health blogger who isn't afraid of showing how easy it is to fake Instagram photos by using herself as an example. She preaches body acceptance by breaking that stereotype that, you know, if you are a man or a woman, you need to have a sculpted body, and the same goes. So that you need to have, basically abs or hourglass figure. But let's see how Sarah really showed that, it can really be misleading, maybe.
yeah,
That's the word. And Sarah, I first came across your profile after those Instagram versus reality posts became viral, and I saw even that encouraged a thread as well on Reddit, on Twitter, everywhere. So your movement basically inspired and wake up a lot of people to the extent of editing photos just for Instagram, which is scary. So please tell us when and where it all started, and when and why did you take this up as a passion, more specifically a mission to inspire people around you and the bigger, of course, Instagram community as well?
So it's kind of a long story, so I'll keep it like semi-brief. Basically, I used to be fully like a fitness account. I changed my personal account into a fitness account when I started like this one workout program, and I was honestly loving it. And I was like posting all my fitness photos of like posing, flexing, and then I would post like my progress photos and everything. But I started realizing the more that I posted them, the more like drastic I wanted them to look. So like in my before photos, I'd be standing naturally, and then in the after photos, I'd be like posing and flexing, which wasn't like showing it was like kind of like an exaggerated expression of like the progress that I've made, if that makes sense. And I kind of realized like what I was doing was not only affecting me, but other people in the comments. When people would comment like, oh, I wish I looked like that, I wish I had that much progress, I've worked out this long as well. And there's so many factors that goes into that. Obviously, like even if two people were to have the exact same workout routine, they would look completely different. But I
Yeah.
also realized like the posing aspect affected a lot of it. So I just started posting like my after photos of the posing, and then the like non-posed version as well. So like the reality behind the Instagram photo. And yeah, I felt like that would help a lot of people realize that like people, well, for me especially, because like I had like a seemingly fit body type whenever I post the after photos. So then seeing the like behind the scenes would show people that I don't look like that 24/7, and it is completely normal and natural to have body fat or like hip dips or just certain different aspects like that, you know? Yeah, so I just really didn't want other people to feel the way that I felt as well by like comparing myself to other people on Instagram, even when I was working out like heavily, and just wanting to show like the reality of things more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think that applies for everyone as well. It's not just about like the body type, but some of your latest posts, it talks about, how filters also have changed our perception towards, your face texture, skin tone, and all this. So obviously you have go way above and beyond, not just talking about body, but talking about insecurities among us in general. And now you are well known for being an ambassador and advocate of body acceptance. And there are many more phrases out there that are often thrown around by media. So how do you define body acceptance, Sarah?
So for me, body acceptance, it's kind of like learning to accept your body regardless of like not being completely satisfied with all the aspects of it. And then whether that dissatisfaction comes from like society's perception that it's created and we've then internalized, or whether it's comments by other people, but like finding and building appreciation and confidence in those aspects that you aren't completely satisfied with, to eventually start viewing your body in a different and more positive way. And like also kind of realizing that you are more than your body, and your body is such a small aspect of what makes you, you know?
That's such a powerful statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think realizing more than your body, that needs, a major change in your mindset as well, which I will ask you again later, because that's not easy when every day you're spammed with like flawless Instagram model pictures, and that insecurity eventually will build up. So I'm gonna ask more about that later. And so Sarah, when I spoke to my friends that I will be speaking to a body acceptance advocate, I didn't mention it with you because I don't I want it to be a surprise, and especially for our listeners as well. So there are many, the first thing they wanted to know was about confidence. So, and this of course comes with the feeling of being comfortable. So my question is, what works to help us feel comfortable in our own bodies?
I think like going from, because like a lot of us throughout life, like we sort of lose that confidence in our bodies and like that acceptance of like, this is my body, because of like certain things that we experience throughout life. So I think the most important thing is to not jump straight into it and put that expectation to like, okay, now I have to feel comfortable in my body and I have to do everything right now, but just like kind of take it step by step, because it can be very overwhelming and seem impossible, especially because of all the different things in life that factor into how we view ourselves. So just realizing that confidence and being comfortable in your own body, it is a journey. It's not going to just like be a linear progression, you're going to have ups and downs, and it's okay to have those ups and downs. Like we are human, and what we can take from those downs will like take those like emotions and feelings and kind of like view them and see what we can change for the next time, and like learn things from them as well. And then like also like realizing that we are all different, and that comfortability should come from the realization that we are all different. We have different lives, and no one is ever going to be exactly the same looking as another person. That like uniqueness makes us so beautiful and so diverse as like an entirety of a population, like it'd be so boring if we all looked the same.
Sure.
And yeah, I think also like practicing body neutrality, which is like viewing your body and making neutral comments about it, like, this is my body, I have body fat, and just kind of like neutralizing it so that it's not either positive or negative. It like helps kind of set like a ground base. And yeah, also I think noticing which things trigger you to make you uncomfortable in your body, whether that's like Instagram, and if it's Instagram, then maybe take breaks from it, or unfollow or mute people that you don't feel happy, you know, or make you feel uncomfortable in your body. And also I've noticed, like, with a lot of people, they'll say that like their friends or family members make comments about their bodies.
Exactly.
So I feel like drawing boundaries a lot of the time by saying things like, oh, I don't really appreciate comments on my body right now. Like, if it's okay, could you not make those comments? But I understand, like, in some cases we can't always say that to some people. So I guess it depends on the nature of your relationship with that person, whether you can say it or not. But yeah,
True.
just kind of
True.
filled it from all of those little tips.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. Like, I think we have to accept the fact that everybody is different, and your post even shows like how our body changes before and after we eat. And I think that realization, when people see that, I think they have to know, because you know, when you wake up and then after eating is completely different. The way you feel even is different. So I think most people need to understand that. And regarding drawing boundaries, I completely agree with you, because usually talking about your body is sort of like an icebreaker during a reunion, like which, when you think about it, is kind of actually really weird, because like
It is.
like when you meet this person after you've been away for so long, and then they'll be like, oh my god, you look so fit, or you look how do I say, in my own language, within my family, they don't see fit, they say you look more if I put it in a way, they will say something like well fed. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, maybe different culture, they say it differently, right? Like so that's what my family, I mean distant family members usually say, and that's really a strange way to break the ice. So, and I think it's very important to establish that boundary as well. And Bibi, I'll give it, I'll pass the ball to you, because I think you're going to ask a very interesting question for the next one.
You read my face, actually. So yeah, all that we spoke about is kind of, stereotypic insecurity that we are talking right now. Going to the business side of things, like, there are many businesses out there who are kind of capitalizing on this idea, and probably something like creating a get fit fast program kind of. There are many businesses out there. Now, I'm not saying that they are wrong, or it's my personal choice. Whom do I follow? What do I follow? Or what regime I kind of accept to make myself happy? That's my personal choice. So I'm not saying anybody's wrong here. Now, I'm curious, and this is kind of a fun question to Sara. Has Sara ever tried any application that promises to make you fit and sexy in the next 40 days? So have you tried something like that?
So I also completely agree with you. Like, it's like what you were saying earlier, but I haven't really tried per se like any fitness programs that are like that have the promise of that. But I have seen like a lot of YouTube videos that are like, do this workout and in 10 days get rid of hip dips or something like that, you know what I mean? And so I've like dabbled in watching those and doing the workouts just out of curiosity. I remember the one time I was going to do this post about trying one of those and seeing the before and after, but I ended up not doing it. I can't remember why. I just like was like, nah, this isn't a helpful post. I don't know, like I just kind of reject, nah, let's not do this. But I did for like 10 days and nothing changed. But But I want to say, like, with those types of YouTube videos, I think we have to be mindful when, like, they can be good workouts. And I mean, if you like doing the workouts that they are showing you, definitely do them. But I think don't attach yourself to the promise that they're saying, because obviously it's not guaranteed. And it is kind of like, I want to say a bit drastic to say you can make this change in 10 days, or saying that like do this exercise every day and then you'll have it in 10 days. But like, I mean, implementing that workout to like your workout routine and doing it like once a week, if you find it fun, then definitely go for it. Like, I don't see why not? Just don't get like dragged into like the promise of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just kind of like release that expectation on yourself and your body.
Got it. So, I mean, in this journey towards body acceptance, which we are talking about, so where should the focus be? I mean, shall it be on our body or our mind?
That is such a difficult question, actually. I think the first place, for me personally, I think the better aspect to start on is the mind, because we have a lot of like ingrained perceptions of what society has placed on us, and like all these thoughts. So like unlearning those thoughts and perceptions is, I think, a good place to start, because once you start working on that and working on your mental health and those kinds of things, then you can kind of shift to like realizing that your body is enough as it is now. And that doesn't like, I'm not saying like don't like do what makes your body happy and is like good for your body. Definitely do the things that are good for your body that you like doing. Like for me personally, with my mind, I will do things like going to therapy and journaling and just kind of like verbally talking through things to myself. It's kind of funny actually. Sometimes I'll be like, because I'll be in my apartment just talking to myself like, you got this, you're beautiful, your body is all good. But then for the body aspect, like I will take baths or like meditate or, work out when I feel like it, for like that, because it does give you a boost in, I can't remember if it's endorphins or dope. Do not remember which.
Let's take the better one, whether it's endorphins or the other one, but whatever works at that point of time, right?
Yeah.
So, good. I got that answer, Sarah.
Exactly, and I completely agree. Like, exercise does make it does make me happier or like feel energetic, and it, although you feel tired when you do it, but the post-workout feeling, it's so good, and of course you sleep better, so that's a bonus. And of course, like what you mentioned, there are many YouTube videos out there that encourages workout in a specific timeline and all these promises, and then we focus on that promises so much that we sometimes forgot to listen to our own body, because not like what you say, everyone is different, and if it works for that person for 10 days, great, but it might not work for you. You might feel tired after 2 days. So I think that's what many people don't understand, or they need to know, or probably most of these videos should have disclaimer. I think most of them do not have now, but some people just like overlook that as well. So, and just going back to BB's question about your your fitness experience, and understand you mentioned before that you started as a fitness account and you were focusing a lot on keeping fit and basically seeing the differences or progress that you've made. And you realize that this is not a healthy routine and probably not a really good example for your followers, and that's why you change and you become an advocate in this movement as well. So I wanted to ask you, how do you learn to recognize negative self-talk and flip the switch toward a gentler thoughts or positive reinforcements?
So again, it's a bit tricky at first, especially when our minds are so used to like the negative self-talk and all of that. So I think like in those moments where you're really deep into the negative self-thinking and thoughts and all of that, I think having like that moment of being like verbally, you can even say it out loud and be like, okay, no, like it is time to stop, like you're like verbally notice that you're doing it. That helps a lot. And then kind of, it's a bit awkward at first, but I've noticed just starting to say positive things about yourself, like after you become aware of the negative self-talk, just start complimenting your body, even if it feels like wrong or fake at first, like eventually while you keep doing that, like it does help. And if you feel uncomfortable doing that, then maybe just mentally make notes of like, you know what, actually I'm a kind person, I'm caring, and then just like note things about your personality rather as well, if it's too difficult to focus on aspects of your body and things like that. And also like, yeah, I think going about like, again, with Instagram accounts and stuff, following people that like post positive thinking things or mental health pages, I feel like that helps a lot as well. With like, they'll always like post these little quotes of like what to say when you're having a bad day, and then I really like reading those. So like whenever you see those, just save them in a little folder, and then it's always nice going back to those and like kind of helping you through those negative mental space.
I think Sarah, you made a very great point, and I just want to call it out here, because this is exactly something which we discussed during our episode 21st. I remember with our guest in there, that the first thing is to acknowledge the negative thoughts which you just mentioned. Like first to know what the negative thoughts are, and then to balance it whether it's really negative, and then move towards the positive side. Unlike what most of us do, and probably again the way we have been told things around us, that always be positive, always think positive about yourself, and things like that. So I think that's a very important point you touched in. First acknowledging the negative thoughts or vibrations or things, even if it is about yourself, and then moving towards the positive side. So glad that you mentioned. Thank you. I just remember. Over to you, Keisha.
All right. Yeah, I completely agree. I think when people don't realize how resourceful Instagram is, like what you mentioned, like there are like mental health help that post like quotes, motivational quotes, or sometimes they set in daily intentions, which actually sometimes can be aligned with what you like. Like our previous guest, Alice, she set intentions every day and posted on Instagram, and I think that really helps, right, Bibi? Like and probably the most common used words nowadays is when you talk to yourself or give yourself positive reinforcement, it's like manifesting. Okay, that's like the most common word. So eventually it will come true, right? When you focus on it, when you put your energy to it, and also automatically that changes your mindset as well. Thanks for sharing. And now this is very interesting, because this is a question that I want to ask both you and Bibi. So Bibi, I'm putting you on the spot here.
All right.
Let me frame it this way. So most of Sarah's followers are women. However, do you think men also feel insecure about their body as well?
Oh, definitely. Like, I think it is prominent in all genders, especially because like the way that advertising works in current day society, and like, so I kind of have like a little story to tell.
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
So I actually made a post about like only focusing on male body acceptance, because I'm a woman. So I was like, okay, I would actually like to talk about men's body acceptance. And I asked some of my followers to send in photos and everything. So I created this post, and it got a lot of good feedback, and a lot of like men were very appreciative to it. But then I noticed a large proportion of men were very like, they were just like, oh no, just go work out, just go lift bro, go gym bro. And I was just like, oh no, what is this? So I feel like a lot, it's like really kind of like a big issue. How do I word this? Like in a lot of, not all men, but like in a large portion of men, like that the solution is to work out, because I feel like with a lot of women's body acceptance, we have so much of it now, but there's not enough for men. So we haven't like spread the message to that many people regarding men. So some men might be like, oh, just go work out, but then thinking that's the only solution, and then not realizing that it's not achievable for everyone to get like that 6-pack and all of those things going back to what I said, like if two men were to do the same workout for X amount of time, they would look completely different. But then, and the underlying things of what make people look different, and just the judgment that I saw in those comments of people being like, not taking into account like other health factors that people may have, you know, and saying that just work out. So that little bit annoyed me. So I wish that there was more like compassion and acceptance for men to like create a safe space for them to like talk and explore their feelings regarding like body acceptance and just their emotions in general, because I feel like still in society we don't have that enough for men.
True.
Do you agree, Bibi?
Yeah, I do, and I'll take this courage to tell a personal story. What I think about this topic, and Sarah, you just got me thinking. So I remember during childhood, when childhood, I mean, I don't remember the years exactly, but my posture, like when I used to walk, my posture was like a bit curved, bit bent from the shoulder. So I used to walk like that. So, and I had been called out and by friends, by some family members, that why do I walk like that, and that made me insecure, and also a bit of less confident. And I kind of tried to enforce that. Okay, now I will walk upright, and I will look probably at the sky far end, which made me more uncomfortable. But then gradually, as I grew up, I accepted it, I embraced it, and I don't care what others feel right now. But I don't think I have any problem with my posture right now. That's what I feel. So I'm taking my own example now. When I grew up, and right now, I did had this insecurity, not anymore, that my upper body is kind of much more bigger than my lower body. And I sometimes, when I saw those Instagram posts or those workout regimes and other things, I did feel insecure, but not right now. I mean, today I will exercise or walk 10,000 steps, or do any not even workouts, just to start with that mind, which we spoke about. I feel comfortable in my own body, I feel comfortable in my own mind, and I think I have accepted myself. So that's how I'm proud about. But to answer your question, Keisha,
How did
uh,
you?
Yeah.
yes, men do feel insecure, and I just spoke from my own personal experiences.
That's it's good to
I
hear
think it's a
both of
very
your
human
perspectives.
emotion. Sorry.
Yeah. No, please go ahead, Sarah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I feel like feeling insecure is a very human emotion, and
Yeah.
I think it's something that everyone will feel or does feel in their life, and I feel like we shouldn't be so judgmental towards that feeling,
Yeah.
either with like ourselves or with other people as well, because at the end of the day, we're all people with feelings and experiences, you know.
It's true, and I'm gonna share my personal story as well, since Bibi already shared. So mine, obviously, I think for girls, during their high school years, those are like the hardest one. I mean, when I think about it, I think my high school was quite okay, but I just feel so sad all the time. I think it's just a normal teenage thing, right? And for last time, I think it was more about how my body looks and also my skin tone. And during those times, we didn't have any role model like Sarah, like everyone is different, it's all right. So I think that kind of affects how I perceive beauty, not only me but other people as well, which is kind of sad, because there's this like certain ground rules that beauty should be like this. And eventually, nowadays in university, there's this like I don't know if it's like a pageant thing, but they have like the prettiest girls, or the prettiest I don't know, like final year students or something. But I don't know, I found it that very make people insecure, and that's why we need role models like Sarah. So I'm gonna talk about my personal story from today. So Actually, I haven't told most of my friends, but like last month, I got braces, so that's why I'm kind of like talking weirdly. Um,
No,
at
you're
first,
not, Keisha. No,
You're really
absolutely not.
not.
see my insecurity again. Um, so I got braces at this age, okay, as an adult, because it affected how I eat, and it was really uncomfortable. So my dentist said, "Oh, you have to get braces." Um, and at first, I chose a transparent one, because I was like, okay, if I'm getting it, might as well get the one that makes me feel, confident. So, um, and after that, I'm not really happy with the result because it doesn't look transparent. So, and that really made me feel insecure. Like I even told BB about it, and I even told my parents about it. But I realized that, you know, these braces will help me with my, jaw problems, so that I can eat properly. So eventually, as time goes by, I learn to accept it. It's fine. And actually, by watching a lot of YouTube and Instagram videos about adult wearing braces helped me. So I understand how Sarah's movement has impacted other people's as well in their body acceptance progress. So kudos to you, Sarah.
Thank you. And also thank you for sharing your story. And I'm really proud of you for, overcoming that insecurity and like taking the steps to like work on feeling better about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And glad to hear both of your stories as well. So, well, we talk about all our insecurities. So let's talk about it in general. There are many media outlets or movies, and a lot of factors that affect the level of insecurity. So, but Sarah, I'm curious, in your opinion, what do you think is the major factor on feeling insecure, which sometimes leads to body dysmorphia?
Ooh, there's so many things. Like I feel like it really is different for each person, depending on like where they are in the world, what their experiences are. But I mean, for me, it was mostly Instagram, and I think also growing up, so it's not really current day, but like the way that ads were marketed and like targeted towards like people being like, oh, get this and change this about your body. If you buy this, this will change. And it like really creates that thing of like, you're not good enough and you need to buy this thing. And I feel like that just creates like an aspect of body dysmorphia. But a specific thing that I've realized like in the last few months that a few people have talked about, and I've also seen it and noticed it, is TikTok.
Oh.
Yeah, and all the like, so I'm not blaming anyone for starting these trends, because I think either, I don't know how they started, it'll depend on the trend, but when they're like blown to such extreme proportions, like some of the trends that I've seen now is like the one that had like a mirror effect, and you would see if your face is symmetrical, and that created a bunch of insecurities for people, whether their face was symmetrical or not. But like nobody looks at your face and is like, are they symmetrical? And then another one was that I actually saw the other day was, it was something like, you're hot if this filter looks natural on you. And I was just like, what? It's just these really small, strange things that like become trends. But the thing that worries me is like when younger people see that, and then they'll think like, oh no, this is like a thing I should be worried about. So then that creates that like, standard, and then that leads to body dysmorphia, or like dysmorphia in general. And it's like also how I feel like a massive thing that also plays an aspect into it is how body trends are a thing. Like back in the early 2000s, it was like smaller butts and like thigh gaps, and then now it's big butts. So then your body can't keep up with these trends, so you're always going to feel a lack in your body, or like that there's something wrong with your body. So I feel like that's another massive factor that plays into body dysmorphia. Body trends. And like treating our bodies as if they're like clothes,
Yeah, exactly. And like what you said, everybody is different, but we have this, like what you said, like we have Instagram ads, TikTok, and filters even impacting other people's insecurity. I'm not sure if you remember this, Sarah, but I think about like more than 2 years ago, there was this trend, like A4 paper trend,
Yeah.
like oh my gosh. When I saw those videos, I was really scared. Like I was actually quite worried for people who thinks that's normal. To give a context to the listeners, if you don't know what is it, it's basically a bunch of girls placing the A4 paper in a portrait, and then they measure their waist, whether it fits into the A4 paper. I think that's one of the craziest thing I've ever seen, and the fact that people commented saying that it was normal, that actually worried me, because I was like, what? Um, and like what you said,
Yeah.
this trend actually set the standard, which is kind of scary. So thank you so
That
much for
that's
sharing
standard.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that standard. Oh gosh. um and of course, before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you some questions about your journey and what's ahead. So Sarah, can you share what's next for you, because I saw that you have like a group retreat coming up, so please give us a sneak peek if you can.
Of course. Yeah. So next year in September, I have like a little self-love retreat in Bali. So it's hosted by Trova Trip, and I'm collaborating with them. And basically, I think it's 20 people can come. And so we'll be doing workshops surrounding like body acceptance and self-love, and yeah, just unlearning like conditioned beliefs that we have ingrained in us because of like society, and then just doing fun things like exploring Bali because it is such a beautiful place. And oh, sorry, I'm just like excited.
Emotional. Oh gosh.
I just want to travel this lockdown a lot.
I
But
know,
yeah,
right?
so I'm really excited for that because I feel like it's going to be such a beautiful like connecting experience with all the people who end up coming, and it's like such a lovely opportunity as well to like make friends from different parts of the world, which is always really, really nice. And yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my god, sounds so lovely. I'm just imagining holiday right now, and meanwhile I'm stuck at home, but wishing it will be back to normal by next year, right? Okay.
Yes.
So any more plans for you, Sarah, other than the group retreat? Any more, probably you have like mini announcement or anything that you want to share with us?
So it's not really like an announcement, but I've been like dabbling in the idea of like getting back into YouTube because I used to have my YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
So I really want to start making videos again. But in all honesty, like I'm really struggling with like, it's not comparison to bodies, but comparison to other people posting on YouTube and me not thinking I'm good enough. So that's a thing I need to work on. And I will fully admit that. But once I overcome that, I'm definitely, or I might not even overcome it. I might overcome it as I go and just start posting. So
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
full-
Can't wait.
full honesty.
Yes, can't wait for your major comeback to YouTube, and of course seeing great content. Because now you're inspiring people through Instagram. Imagine what you can do with YouTube. Wow,
Yeah,
the
I feel
power of
like-
Sarah.
I can talk more there, but
Exactly. All right. Okay. Thanks, Sarah, for joining. For our
Thank
listeners
you.
there, I hope you learned something new and you are equally inspired by Sarah's journey and movement. And of course, Bibi, any last thoughts?
Wonderful talk, Sarah. Thank you so much. You inspired us like you do to your followers on Instagram and now on YouTube when you come back. Well, two things from my side, okay? So the first thing is we spoke about this stereotypic insecurity. And we spoke about, using filters on Instagram. So I just want to leave a thought to our listeners, because we are not debating what's right and what's wrong, but it just played back in my mind that once if I am using filter and snapping myself and then uploading, I have to think when I come out of the filter, what am I? And during that moment, do I feel insecurity, and do I only feel secured when I'm using those filters? So there are many hidden thoughts in this thought. So I just want to leave it uh, our listeners to think about it. And the second thing is that spill the teapots. We are putting really hard work in bringing such inspiring stories. And thank you so much, Sarah, for
Thank
giving us
you.
time again. Uh, our listeners out there, you guys can find us on our new website, which is www.spilltheteapots.com. At Instagram and Facebook. We are very new on Facebook and YouTube right now. It's at Spill the Teapots. Sarah, where can our listeners find you? Would you like to mention your channel where they can find
Sure.
you?
Thank you. You can find me on Instagram. It's at Saggy Sarah, SAGGYSARA.
Fantastic. So what we'll do is we'll just tag when we release this episode. Okay.
Thank you.
All right
All
then.
right.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Have a great day. Talk to you later.
Thank you. You guys
Bye.
too.
Hope you
Bye.
enjoyed this episode.